Is self-care selfish? Or let me ask it this way. Do you believe that self-care is selfish? Truth? Most women would answer yes, because they believe that taking time for themselves is taking away time from their responsibilities, whether it's taking care of their home, their children, their business, their significant other, maybe their parents. Women unfortunately put themselves on the bottom of the list of important people in their own lives. Hi, I'm Leslie Gadet, self care specialist to women. I work with female entrepreneurs who have strong CEO skills but need to incorporate more self care into their life and business for ease and flow, and to support them emotionally, physically, and spiritually. So, is it selfish to want to do better, to be better, to have a better life? And if that means that by adding self care or self love or self development to your daily routine, that is considered a selfish act? Or is it simply that you're providing yourself with the tools to feel better about yourself so that you can live a more grateful life, so that you show up in your world that way with a better attitude, a better mindset, better relationships, more optimism, more joy, more gratitude, and an overall better version of yourself? These are all signs of a strong self care practice in your life. So that begs the question, how do we change the view of anything that begins with self, from being viewed as selfish to being viewed as essential to living life with more joy, gratitude, and love? First, let's dive into some of the things that women are saying when it comes to putting themselves first, or rather not, or finding time for themselves and how they feel about making the time for self-care. I came across this article on LinkedIn by Masuda Shandik, who's a designer turned design recruiter. And in the article she titled, Why is Self-Care So Hard for Women? That was published, she published it back in July of 2021. She starts off the article with a conversation between herself and her aunt, and it goes like this. Her aunt says to her, Your uncle's out of town for 3 weeks. I haven't cooked a proper meal for quite a while now. And Vasudha responds by saying, But why? You love cooking. Which then her aunt replies, Yes, but why should I put so much effort just for myself? This isn't uncommon, really. But if she were to have said, I guess I could, but I never put into much thought about cooking just for one, and maybe she could have then followed up by saying, It might be nice to cook for myself and enjoy a quiet meal, just me and the quiet and nothing else. And that would be her allowing herself to enjoy the time that she has for herself, to reflect on her life, how grateful she is for her life. Because I always say, bring it back to gratitude. Now, other ways that women put themselves last is by fearing saying no when asked to do something, to add something more to their plate, but afraid that if they say no, that it will reflect badly on them, that people will think badly of them. But all that does is it overwhelms them emotionally, it overwhelms their time, and can often lead to resentment when all they had to do was to actually say, no, it doesn't fit within my schedule. Or something, maybe it's even something that they're not interested in. And so having the courage to say, yeah, not really, right? Now, a couple of other points Vasudha makes in her article is this, quote, be it staying late in the office to help a friend and missing the power nap you desperately wanted. That's another form of not being able to say no because someone's asking for something. Or even going so far as this, because I know there's a lot of women in my life that I know who are amazing cooks and they love to cook for other people. But how about this? Cooking elaborate meals for your family on weekends and doing all the chores on your own so that everyone else can relax and have a good time, just for you only to go to bed exhausted. Or something one of my clients said was that she was feeling overwhelmed. And this is recently. I've been working with her for a little while, and she goes through her ups and downs, and that's life. That is exactly life. And it's you're building the tools to help you manage those moments when things pop up. But she was feeling overwhelmed because she was overwhelming her calendar with things that, although she loved and was interested in, was excited about, she was overwhelming her calendar. She was overwhelming herself, exhausting herself emotionally and physically, helping other people, trying to fill her cake orders as well on time, and staying up past midnight, which meant missing out on family time and then falling into bed exhausted. She wasn't honoring herself by saying yes all the time. She wasn't honoring herself by saying yes to things that would eat up all of her time and leave none for her to, what I call, fill her cup, meaning take care of her, and none for her to spend quality time with her husband and her two young boys. She realized that time was valuable and learning how to manage her time would be priceless. But she also recognized that by allowing things to eat up all of her time, because she was saying yes to things that really just were taking away time that she needed to spend elsewhere and wanted to spend elsewhere, and she was falling into bed exhausted, that didn't help her for the next day when she would she'd wake up again early, equally as exhausted as when she went to bed and having to do it all over again. Right? Now, think about that. If that's you, I see you. Now, before we get to how to add in self-care to your daily life, I wanted to share one more statistic with you, and it's about men and how they view self-care. In an article written by Knowledge for Men, many guys either cringe at their notion of self-love for men or write it off completely. It's not a topic often discussed amongst men, and few men openly go out and admit they practice self-love. For many guys, self-love sounds a bit strange. It can sound needy. But it's absolutely 100% just as important for men to take care of themselves so that they're showing up in their world with more energy, with more joy, feeling happier, satisfied, and pursuing their goals, just as it is for women. Now, the article goes on to say, it's much more acceptable in society to talk about stuff we have or do in our lives rather than talking about how we take care of ourselves so that we can continue having and doing. Another source of struggle is the perceived dichotomy between love and masculinity, especially in society where being masculine quickly descends into the realm of machismo. Love is not a topic that's easily woven into the average discussion between guys. So, how does one allow themselves, men and women both, to add self-care or self-development or self-love, if you will, into their daily practices? Well, it's questions that you ask yourself, questions and decisions based on your choices and based on how you want to live your life. Like, how do you want to live your life? If you had to actually sit down and answer that question, how would you respond? Because it really does come down to number one, self-care, taking care of you so that you can make those choices confidently, more decisively. So one, you decide that you are just as important as everyone else on your list. That is the first step to incorporating self-care into your life, is recognizing that you are just as important as everyone else. You are a VIP just like everyone else. Number two, recognize that when you are not your best version, then that's what everyone else is in your life is getting. The cranky, upset, resentful, irritated, and snappy person. When you don't take care of yourself, and that's the version that you show up as, everyone experiences that. Number three, notice how you're spending your time. What are you doing daily that you know is eating up all of your time, that you feel like you just don't have a life? I know I've been there. I'll tell you a quick story about me and how taking back my time literally changed the trajectory of my life. It literally saved my life, if you will. I was working a job, working as a paralegal in a law firm. I support them today, but before, when I was working full time, it was my life revolved around the job. My commute to work was an hour. My commute home was an hour or more. And I didn't live that far away, but living in California, if you've ever traveled the highways in California, then you know exactly what I'm talking about, that the traffic is crazy. And so the commute took up a lot of my time. And then getting into work, I worked like really hard all day long. And I love what I did, but it was just a lot of my time was spent at the office, because at the end of the day, I could go home at 5 o'clock and spend 2 hours in traffic, or go home at 6-ish, maybe 6:30, and get home by 7, after maybe quarter after 7, 7:30, so almost an hour. And that was my days. And then I would sometimes bring work home, and sometimes I'd bring home work on the weekends. And so I really had no life. And at the end of the day, when I would get home, I didn't have time for anything else. I didn't want to do anything else except melt into my chair and veg until it was time to go to bed. And I did that on repeat for 3 years while we were living in California. Until one day I turned to my husband and I said, I can't do this anymore. We need to figure something else out that allows me to work doing what I love, but I can't have my life revolve around work. And we made that decision to move from California to Las Vegas. I ended up giving a 2-week notice to my job at the time and said, I'm moving. However, I became resourceful and I said, however, I'd like to stay on and help you, but from a remote capacity, which I knew I could. I had the skill set to do that. And then I talked to all of the lawyers in the office and we came up with a plan. And now I've been doing this for them, serving them at this level, at this capacity for the past almost 5 years, which opened up time for me to spend more quality time with my husband. My life didn't revolve around my job. I started using my time more effectively, and I was able to go out and meet new people and actually explore something different, which led me to become a life coach, something else that I equally love to do. Now, a really great coach once told me that these 2 vital questions are how she starts her day every single day. Number 1, she asks, what do I need? And the second one is, what does my business need? So, which leads me to the answer to how you allow yourself to add more self-care into your life, right? Asking yourself every morning, what do I need that will help me tackle my day as the best version of me so that I'm living my life with more joy and more gratitude? And then you're noticing your energy. That's the second part to it. Noticing your energy. How are you feeling? Are you feeling energized? Did you have a good night's sleep the night before? Or maybe you're feeling exhausted. And is the exhaustion because you've overwhelmed yourself with so many things because you don't know how to say no? One of the things I also stress with my clients is that sometimes it's not the act of actually saying no. It's actually the act of saying, not right now. And then coming up with a plan for when it will fit into your life if you do want to do it, but also recognizing that some things just don't align and you may not even want to revisit it again, and that would be a hard no. But finding the courage to speak your truth and honor yourself, honor your time, which leads to learning how to trust yourself so that you can open yourself up to saying yes to the right things that actually do light you up, do energize you, that do fit into your calendar. You're not overwhelming yourself. And most importantly, making sure that you take care of you, like making sure you eat right, not always grabbing after the next fast food thing because you need something quick. Making sure that you're not just eating junk food, but actually, giving yourself proper nutrition so that, especially if you have like these big projects, eating a burger and fries to tackle a project in the afternoon is only going to make you feel sluggish. Eat something energizing, something that's good for you is going to give you the energy you need. Making sure you hydrate well, drinking plenty of water. Your brain needs your water as well as the food that you eat because it's consuming the calories as well. So if you want mental clarity and focus, you got to make sure that you're eating right and hydrating well, especially when you are tackling something that needs focus. Make sure to take mental breaks throughout your day and make sure that you're not just like go, go, go and finding yourself at the end of the day like thinking, what did I do today? And what did I learn? And did I retain anything? Because really, when you go past a certain time and you're not allowing yourself mental breaks, all you're doing is you're filling your brain with more, but you're not really retaining it. It's almost like I kind of like describe it like Gold Rush. If you watch the show Gold Rush, where they're putting the gold through the sluicer, and if something breaks down and the gold, the stuff that they're putting through, the pay as they call it, and it falls off and it doesn't go through and it doesn't get onto the mats, they're losing valuable gold. Well, that's what's happening to your brain. If you're overdoing it, not taking mental breaks, all you're doing is putting more stuff in and it's just going in, but there's nothing sticking because there's no room for you to actually take time to focus on what it is that you've learned so that you can filter that out and take more in. So it's very important. Getting proper rest is so important as well, and setting yourself up for that. Have you ever thought about setting yourself up at night for a successful night's sleep? Meaning maybe learning to adopt a practice like myself, which is I have a no scroll rule on social media after 7 p.m. No answering of emails or text messages, and I turn my phone to silent when I go to sleep so that it doesn't buzz and wake me up out of a good night's rest. And of course, tempt me to see what's up, right? Who's texting me? Because I want to allow myself, my brain, time to wind down. So that's what I would suggest for you. If you're looking for ways to actually incorporate more self-love into or self-care into your daily practice, know that it's beneficial for you. It actually benefits you to take care of you because you do show up as a better version of you. You're happier, you are more focused, you're more grateful, you have more optimism for life, you have a better mindset around things, a better attitude, you have better relationships with the people in your life, and you're an overall better version of yourself in your day to day. So just wanted to leave you with that. I hope you're having a great Tuesday. As you can hear, probably it's raining pretty bad here in Florida. Just happened to pick one of those days to go live where precipitation was 100%. But I wasn't going to skip this because I know how important self-care is. I never start my day without self-care. It is my number one go-to before I do anything else. And I encourage my clients to do the same because it sets you up for a successful day. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Remember to navigate your day with an attitude of gratitude, because with the right attitude, it will put you in the right mindset for when life throws her curveballs or puts up those roadblocks in your way. You'll be in a better frame of mind to manage your emotional trigger moments. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.